decent watercolour paper is way more important than good quality paint, and decent paper comes at a price. So when I was asked to look at this new sort of paper, this cotton top paper that supposedly has all the benefits of the best quality cotton paper but at the price point of wood pulp paper, I was intrigued. I said, yep, please send me some. And it's arrived. This is cotton top paper, sorry about the shine, from Ohuhu. It's called Wailua, which I think is in Hawaii somewhere. Anyway, my name's Liz Chatterton. I'm a watercolour artist based in Berkshire. Every week I share tips, tricks and techniques that I wish I'd known about ages ago. So this week, give me 10 minutes of your time and we'll take a look at this paper, and either we'll say it's better than sliced bread, or I'll say don't waste your money. If you find this content useful, then please leave a comment. I'd be intrigued to know what paper you use, and if you can leave a thumbs up, that'd be lovely, because that tells YouTube that this video actually has got some benefit. Let's get this shiny stuff off so you can see it. They have some clever patented process where the top of the paper is cotton fibre, but the bulk of the bottom of the paper is cellulose, so there is a cost saving. I am intrigued. This pad, 30 sheets, 9x12. So at the moment they have cold press, which is what I've got here, which in the UK of course we call not, and they do a hot press too. They do it in this size, the 9x12, and in an A4. Give you an idea, 30 sheets in the UK is £12, and in the US it's $14.99. Now, if we compare that, of course, cellulose paper you can get from, I don't know, £5 or £6 for a pad of paper. But I have to say it's like just painting on toilet paper. Or you think about at the other end of the spectrum, maybe if you get a pad this size, 9x12 of Arches, 12 sheets was about £20, 20 sheets was about £40. If this is good, that will be brilliant. And if it's bad, well, we'll have wasted our money. Which reminds me, in the interest of transparency, I have been sent this for free, but this video is not sponsored, and therefore I am going to give you my very honest opinion. But just before we do, worth remembering the two sorts of watercolour paper that there are, say cotton or cellulose. The advantages of cotton, that generally it's better absorbency, has better water holding capacity. It's usually more durable and stronger than the wood pulp. It often has a very nice texture. It gives you lots of flexibility with your different techniques, and it should be archival, so it will not yellow and get sort of dusty over time. Your colours should not fade. Wood pulp paper is certainly cheaper. It needs to be buffered to get that archival quality. It isn't as strong and it isn't as absorbent. Ohuhu say this has been engineered for superior pigment diffusion, and it also says that there should be very minimal wet to dry colour shifting, because we know that our watercolours dry, 15% lighter sometimes? And just before I go on, there isn't anything wrong with cellulose paper. I use Bockingford paper a lot of the time, which is cellulose, but it is archival, it's really good quality. So given that this is cotton top, it's important to know which side is the front. Stuck the paper down onto a board just so we can have a go at flat wash, bit of, say, wet in wet, bit of glazing, and then maybe a bit of mixed media here, and that will give us lots of information, I'm hoping. And if you're not confident about your flat washes, the secret is to make sure you've got enough mixed up for the area that you're going to do, to use a decent sized brush, and definitely to have your board at an angle. And you want to put a brush stroke across so you get that little bead of fluid at the bottom of your stroke, because then when you overlap it, it stops your wash becoming stripy, Once you're happy with it, just put it flat and let it dry. Can't really say anything till it dries, so let's just ignore it. But what I am going to do over here is just put a layer of our yellow, because I'm going to glaze here, and I'll start with the lightest colour and just see how the other colours go on top of it. So that needs to dry. Let's do some wet in wet. I'm wetting the paper, and then let's just see how these colours move through the wet paper. So that is our Quin Lilac, and that's moving very beautifully. Now I would expect a cotton paper to stay workable for quite some time. My studio is pretty warm, and I expect things to be drying relatively quickly. So I will be interested to see how this behaves as I add more paint. The texture on this, so this is, what did we say, it was a knot surface, cold press, is quite noticeable and very regular. While they're wet, the colours seem rich and vibrant, but of course what we're looking for is that drying. It's certainly staying workable. Let's just try sprinkling a little salt. This is just ordinary table salt. Let's just place that in there, and we'll see what that looks like when it's dry. I've been out for a walk and let this dry naturally. Sadly, I seem to have got some salt on my flat wash, which is why those little marks. Never mind. Let's peel this off. Oh, it's quite fun. Still not 100% dry. Best way to always check is with the back of your hand, and this is definitely feeling damp here. Obviously I'm expecting it to be a bit damp under where I had the plastic wrap, but so that's really held a lot of water. So let's look a bit at sort of just glazing and how colours go over each other. We started with that really pale goldeny yellow. Let's glaze over some of the Pyrrole orange. And what I'm looking for, I'm just intrigued whether the bottom layer lifts up and muddies. So we'll let that dry, and then I'll put, say, one of the pinks or something on top and see how those 3 layers feel. That's feeling dry, and I would love to see how robust this paper is. So I have got some magic eraser. If you don't know magic eraser, it's a melamine sponge. You can rip it like that. It's really designed for cleaning around the house, but watercolourists soon realised it's actually very good at lifting. So you dip it in water, squeeze it out till it is barely damp. You could even use a bit of your kitchen towel just to take off the excess, and then you can use it to lift. Let's use a short flat brush first and just see how much we can lift. Very little, as expected, because it's alizarin and that's a really staining colour. I am intrigued. Definitely lifting more with my magic eraser, but what I'm looking for is, am I damaging the surface? Because on Bockingford, which is a cellulose paper I use all the time, you've probably got three rubs and then you start to see the surface pill up. I think that isn't bad. So what was that, 5 or 6 rubs? And I'm lifting quite a lot of that really staining alizarin. The paper's not looking all fuzzy. That is quite impressive. So I'm just putting some yellow over there, really to see whether I'd managed to damage the surface with that scrubbing, and to see whether it goes on quite evenly. And do you know, that is not bad. If I damage the surface, you'd expect to see this sort of darker as it sank in, but that is not bad at all. Let's put a little wash of that Quin Lilac and just see how clear those colours are and whether any of them appear to lift. Looking pretty good. So come to here. Now it is dry, I'll just rub off that salt. So if you're a fan of wet in wet or salt techniques or the sort of texturing techniques where you can sort of manipulate the pigment, they look pretty good on this paper. And those colours have stayed very vibrant as well, haven't they? On my last quarter, I'm just going to do a bit of a mixed media to see what it feels like. I'll leave some little white areas as well and just have a play with some of these colours, see how they behave themselves. I'm using the end of my brush to do some mark making, and I've just popped a little bit of extra black for a bit of oomph. I've got a uniball, a pink uniball pen here. It's fun to splosh some paint on and then just work back into it, respond to the marks and patterns that are there, see where you end up. And I have literally just had some gold ink delivered to me. So I'm going to use this as an opportunity to see how gold this gold ink is. Just again mark making with a little acrylic marker, and I do like these brush markers because you can use the side to sort of get this sort of petal shape or the tip for dots. This is the gold ink. I saw it on the good old internet and it was only £8 for 250 grams, which is, if it's any good, that is a super bargain. Got this little needle bottle. Ooh. Oh, that's quite fun, isn't it? Let's take off this tape and then reach some conclusions. Okay, without smudging this, let's have a look. It certainly took a flat wash really nicely. And what I'm impressed about is that lifting, because say Magic Eraser I use as last resort when I really need to do something quite rough with the paper. And I can see that it's a little bit darker on this bottom area where I did go backwards and forwards quite a bit. So I obviously did some damage there, but not half as much as if I'd done it on a cellulose paper. The glazing's gone on really nicely. It seems to be taking those sort of layers and letting the colours glow through, which is great. And then this area where we did all that wet in wet, well, it's really held on to the moisture for a long time. It certainly lets the pigment move around. That was our salt texture, that was just the wet in wet, and that was a bit of scrunched up plastic. And then over here where I did that little mixed media pattern, the colours have stayed very vibrant. We've got interesting marks and textures, so it's quite rewarding. I put a fair amount of water on that without stretching it, and if I whiz it over, yeah, there's a little bit of movement there, a little bit of cockling, but certainly no more than I would expect. And you could always dampen the back, flatten it down, and it would be absolutely fine. So I'm quite impressed with that. The downsides, well, for me, there are two obvious ones. As I say, I'm not that keen on this texture. It is very regular, though once you've got paint on, it isn't obtrusive. If you're leaving a lot of white space, I think potentially that would be a downside for me. The other thing is this is the largest size they do at the moment, 9 by 12, and that wouldn't be big enough for me. But I'm going to really enjoy using the rest of that pad. say 30 sheets in a pad for £12, I think is very good value. Let me know what you think, and would you be tempted to give it a go?